Welcome to Loaded Sport.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Loaded Sport, previewing this weekend's action, and we've got plenty of football to be looking towards, as well as the NFL, looking towards week 12 of the NFL season. Joining me to go through it, we welcome back Skin, Kemp and Sam. Good afternoon, lads.
Hello.
How are we all?
Hey, pal.
Man with the mic, you little bowl of strawberries, you. I want to put my cream on you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Every time.
Comes up with something different every time. Skin, you sound dreadful, mate. You all right?
No, mate. I feel like I'm a bit poorly. I'm very tired, but I'll spend the next hour ripping you, and I'm sure I'll feel better.
Well, that's what
Power
they
through.
all do. That's what they all do. A lot of football
Power
and
through
NFL.
for the people. We've got stuff to talk about. We've got a fucking weekend of World Cup action coming up in week 12 of the NFL, so let's go.
Let's get on with it.
Absolutely. Before we do start talking about England, I want to start by talking about the latest in the Cristiano Ronaldo Manchester United saga. I've been looking forward to hearing Sam's opinion on this because whilst he's been away, a lot has been going on. We've now got a great opportunity. So, Sam, I'm going to kick things off with you. Tell us your thoughts on the Cristiano Ronaldo situation and just how it's starting to conclude.
Well, I know you've already covered it, so I'm not going to go too much into the interview. Just on the release part 2 afterwards. Yeah, it's a bit of a shit show what he's done. Really, it is. I think Dawson said it. It's pretty cowardly to do it. That just as his on way out to to
Shitbag timing.
Pure shitbag timing. However, I think I was going to say this before. I wish I'd have got this in, before yesterday because I'd have looked like a genius. But I was going to say United are going to massively prosper from can't get my words out. United are going to prosper from this because he's shed so much light on it. I know it's already been shed in the past, but it's the first time a current player has come out and really hammered the facilities, the infrastructure of the club, everything. And lo and behold, within a couple of hours after he'd been terminated his contract, it comes out that Glazers are going to sell, or potentially looking at options to sell. So, yeah, it's. I think it's brilliant for United.
I was going to say, it's got to be a win for the fans more than anything, hasn't it? They've lost Cristiano Ronaldo, who, to be fair, wasn't fitting the style of play anyway, and some was considering toxic within the dressing room, and they're potentially getting rid of the Glazers.
Yeah.
I'm going to say fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1, isn't it? They're getting, like you say, they're getting rid of someone who didn't want to be there. But Glazers have been the one constant over the last few seasons that the fans have just been completely against. So if it's took him to stand up against them for them to go, I think United fans will take that every day of the week.
Absolutely. And where does Ronaldo go from here? Now he's kind of given that sort of toxic atmosphere, people predicting that maybe somewhere in the Premier League he wants to play Champions League football. Is there really going to be a team that's going to turn around and say, yeah, let's take a punt on Ronaldo?
Well, who's going to want him, like, realistically? He sounds like an owner's headache. He's come out quite blasé and just crucified the entire structure of the club. If I'm a chairman sat looking at that, I'm thinking, fucking hell, I don't want him at my club airing out my dirty laundry on what's wrong. So I don't think there's going to be a long list for him. Whether or not he's going to have to settle, I think there were reports that he'd got, 350 million offer for Saudi Arabian in the summer, just gone. And he turned it down because he wanted a more competitive offer. But I just don't think he's not going to get Champions League football. I really can't see any club. There's realistically probably Bayern and Chelsea only clubs that could. If not, he's just going to have to go to America. But I don't think there'll be a great long list for him.
I think it depends on his stance and if it's changed or not, because his big gripe in the summer, and I mentioned this to Dawson in the conversation that we initially had about Ronaldo, is, my argument was, he wanted to leave in the summer, which he absolutely did. And the reason that he wanted to leave, or the reason that he gave, the media and everybody else that he wanted to leave, is because of the lack of Champions League football. So if that stance has not changed, then he's going to have to take a pay cut, because any sort of side in the Champions League, or any, what you'd say, and I think I've mentioned it before, those, clubs in countries where the standard's not quite as good, like, a Turkey or something like that, but they still do have clubs in the Champions League. That is something that Ronaldo could look at if he is really insistent on playing in the Champions League. But if that stance has changed and if it has softened a little bit in terms of the legacy side of things, and it's more about the commercial opportunities for him, I agree. I think I can see him going to to Qatar perhaps, or maybe Saudi, or even the MLS if the finances allow it. So I think it all depends on Ronaldo, and I think if he decides that he wants that Champions League football, that legacy to try and beat Messi's goal scoring record in that competition or whatever it might be, then that's what he's going to do. But apart from that, and if that stance has changed, and if he is accepting the commercial side of things now, I think I can see him, somewhere in the Middle East or somewhere in America, Sam. So it's a good point that you make.
Yeah, it was quite clever though in the summer. If you remember, he never actually officially come out and said he wanted to leave and wanted to get another club. He never come out and said that on social media, anything. I think he fed it through his agents, and then he had that liability to come out at the end of it. And if he didn't get a club, he'd come out at the end and said, I've never said anything official, kept his hands clean with United fans. So he was quite clever in summer by not officially saying. Everyone knew he wanted to leave, but he never officially come out and said it. So he was quite clever in summer, but now obviously he's gone in like a bull in a china shop.
No, he played it well. He played it well in the summer, and I completely agree. Obviously, it's obvious to all of us that he did want to leave. Otherwise, why would you have Ferguson, Richard Arnold, Ten Hag all turning up at training grounds to have crisis talks with him? But he has got that out there where he can say, I never said I wanted to leave. I didn't want to leave. But now after the Piers Morgan interview, you're quite right. He's made it quite clear, and there was no way back. And again, it just depends on Cristiano Ronaldo now. But from Manchester United side of things, Manchester United fans must be buzzing, because in the last 48 hours, a dressing room cancer's gone, and it looks like the bane of their life for 15 years is following them out the door. So it seems like a Manchester United fan's dream come true.
Skin, you are a United fan. Would you say that?
It's hard to disagree, mate. It's good for both parties for the contract to be terminated. The official stance was that it was mutually agreed. So there's clearly been some kind of conversations after that interview came out of what was said. It works for both parties. In terms of where he goes, I'm not really sure. I mentioned to you earlier in the group chat that when he signed initially, he was on nearly £800,000 a week as a basic salary. Him, alongside the rest of the team, took a 25% pay cut when they failed to qualify for the Champions League. And it seems, he still sees himself as a top-tier player despite being 35 years of age. He still sees himself as someone that can contribute to a top team in the biggest competitions like the Champions League. But who can afford that kind of money? I initially thought Chelsea, because he was heavily linked with them in the summer. I can't see them being in a position to offer that kind of money. But then they have since got a new owner. They are struggling for an out-and-out striker, so maybe they do to take that risk to help Potter and Chelsea as a whole get back on track after their recent form. Man City, again, almost went there in the summer. They're a team that could potentially afford him, but they've got Haaland. They've got players like Foden up there as well that are really performing. Do they need him? No. So who comes in for him? I saw a report this morning, I'm not sure how reliable the source was, but had an unnamed team from Saudi Arabia, whether it was the same one from the summer, and Newcastle as leading teams for his signature, and both clubs could afford to pay him what he was on initially at United, but I'm not sure how Newcastle would fall under the FIFA fair play rules. I'm not sure if they're in a position where they could officially pay a player that much money. So
he's not with Newcastle.
I think they could. I think they could, because Mike Ashley, I think the way that the financial fair play works is that it's profit and loss per season, I think. And on the build up to the Saudis taking over, I think Newcastle have probably got a lot more free rein to do big financial deals than a lot of other clubs because of their record in previous seasons. So I think they could, but it's whether Eddie Howe would want to based on what's happening so far this season. And also, just before you do jump back in, Dawson, I think the team in Saudi Arabia that were interested before was Al Hilal. Whether it's those that are interested again, I'm not sure. But just to sort of confirm that one, I think it was Al Hilal.
Yeah, and again, time will tell. We've spoke about the shitbag timing of him releasing that interview just before he went to the World Cup. You would assume that his priorities would sit with what's going on with Portugal and Qatar, and it will be his agents doing the work in the back end to see who's interested, who could afford him, and all that other kind of stuff. But gun to my head, if you told me to make a prediction, I will stick with Chelsea based on the fact that they are struggling for that out-and-out striker, and they've had links before, and they need to turn their season around. So, yeah, I can't see him at an MLS. I can't see him going to a Saudi Arabia. So I'll go with Chelsea as my pick for now. But
to your point as well, what you've just said there about Portugal, I kind of feel for them as well, because all they're doing at the minute is answering questions about Ronaldo. Every time Bruno was up on, podium answering questions, it's all about Ronaldo. It's the last thing they want to be doing. It's so disruptive to that Portuguese team, and I do kind of feel for him. I mean, not too much, because I hope it does kind of throw him off. But it's the last thing you want as a player, and it's a big distraction like that.
Big distraction you don't need going into the World Cup.
Speaking of which, we'll move on to England playing on Friday. Of course, Ronaldo plays on Thursday, concludes Group H's first round of fixtures. England getting underway with their second round of fixtures on Friday evening against the United States. And I suppose the big question and the big talking point at the moment, we spoke about it on the review show about sticking with the same 11. It might not even be possible now, looking at the situation surrounding Harry Kane. So the question I've got, first of all, I'll come to you, Kemp, about it. Harry Kane, if he's touch and go towards playing, and there's an opportunity for us to go up against USA and maybe rest him, do you take that chance of resting him and start Marcus Rashford or Wilson?
For me, Marcus Rashford, I think he scored with his third touch the other day, and Callum Wilson probably could have had a decent opportunity himself, but he decided to square the ball, and God bless him for doing so. I think Marcus Rashford's he's the safer bet. He has got more experience at tournament football. He has got more experience playing for England, and I do think his pace off the last man really will suit, the way that we're going to try and play. I think it's going to be a tough test. I don't think the USA are going to roll over quite as easily as Iran did. I do still expect us to get the result, but I do think Marcus Rashford over Callum Wilson will help us get that result. If
they've
Harry
got the
Kane
commenters
isn't
as well, haven't
available.
they? They didn't win the first game, so they've got someone like a Rashford. It could be prime for them pushing up, trying to get a win against us.
Works in our favour.
Yeah.
Works in our favour big time. If they're playing a high line, they're playing a press. Marcus Rashford's probably much better than Harry Kane at beating that sort of system. So yeah, I would be positive if he started Rashford, but it is Southgate, so he could probably start Phil Jones.
I meant more of even if Harry Kane's fit to go, do you see that as like an opportunity to maybe rest him? No, definitely start with Kane.
I'll give it a short answer to that. If Kane's fit, Kane plays. Simple as that.
Agreed. I think if anybody who's in the starting 11 against Iran is fit, every single one of them needs to play. It's like I said in the previous podcast, you can't change a side that's just played brilliant football and won 6-2. Despite the opposition, and make of Iran what you will, it was still a great performance, and you can't look at a player in the eye and say you didn't perform well enough, so I'm taking you off for the next game when we've just won 6-2.
Yeah, it's a World Cup at the end of the day. It's a second group game. You can't get cute at this stage thinking, I can afford to rest it. It's only USA. If Kane's fit, he plays. I must say, I did catch an interview just before we signed on to here. It was with Conor Cody, and he did say that he has recovered well and he expects him to play. That's what Conor Cody says, and the interviewer kind of pushed him on that.
Seemed a bit sheepish, though, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He kind of said it, and then I think the interviewer pushed him on it and said, "Oh right, he's trying to confirm he's going to start," and he kind of backed off a bit. But from what he said, it sounded quite confident that he's going to play. So I think he will. I think he will end up starting. But as Kemp said, I think Rashford up top would probably be the best option. Having that experience in tournament football at the minute, if your players are roughly on a par, but you've got one player that has that, it's a no-brainer. Go with that guy because it's worth its weight in gold in these competitions.
I think regardless, though, you've got to be beating the USA regardless of who goes up top. So I hope it's Kane. If it's Rashford, it's Rashford, and that's what I would prefer to Callum Wilson. But even if it is Callum Wilson, Southgate lives and dies by that decision, and we've got to win Dawson anyway.
Yeah, completely agree. I'd prefer Rashford based on everything that's been said. USA, you would expect to be more attacking. They won't set up with such a defensive approach as Iran did because they've got to win after that late equaliser against Wales the other day, or from Wales the other day. It's just, if Kane's fit, he plays. If he's 90%, I think he still plays. Something I saw earlier, and I didn't realise that this was the case because I didn't watch the Nations League or didn't watch huge chunks of it anyway, was that to Marcus Rashford's goals, they were his first touches in an England shirt since the Euros final when he missed the penalty. Right. So that must have done absolutely wonders for his confidence. He's been playing well for United under Ten Hag as well. So I think in terms of where Rashford's mindset's at, what that goal would have done for him mentally as well, he's got to be the player to start on Friday, should Kane be in a position where he can't start for whatever reason.
I suppose on the reverse side of what I just mentioned about Kane, you've also got to take into account that this does seem to be, like with any World Cup, there's a couple of underdogs in there that are performing quite well, and so far we've seen Saudi Arabia beat Argentina Japan beat Germany, it's not out of the question that we are still going to have to take the game to USA. Like you said, Kemp, that the fact that they're going to take the game to us, that they've got to win. They drew against Wales. For us, it's a case of effectively winning you through, isn't it?
I said that, you fucker.
I thought it was Kemp that said it.
No, Sam said it, to be fair, and I did agree. But you are absolutely right, and so is Sam. Sam's always right, but on this occasion, you're right as well.
Sam's never fucking right. Whoa. Don't put Sam's never right.
He's right. He's right.
What?
They're fucking cursed, man.
He's got. Yeah, I've got previous.
Are you fucking pissed?
No, that's bad. That's bad.
This is up there with Kevin Keegan.
That old Keegan. Yeah, that old Keegan.
I don't know.
Sporting curse. It's the worst thing.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
We'll have to do a special one-off standalone episode on what was worse, saying that Sam's always right or Kevin Keegan's the second best England manager of all time.
I could spend 6 hours going down them rabbit holes. Jesus.
But yeah, we'll save that for another time. But yeah, absolutely not. Sam is never right. That is why the curse is well-renowned and well-feared by everyone across the world. If Sam states something is going to happen in sport, bet on the other thing happening.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Coming up, obviously, we've got some tips coming up for the preview show. So essentially, whatever I say, just back against it, and you'll not go far wrong.
Like the Chael Sonnen of loaded sport.
Saying that there's a goal in it for Costa Rica and Spain win 5-0. Prime example. On to game of the week then. Skim, we'll start with yourself. Any game from Friday, Saturday, or Sunday that you consider to be a very, very big game?
Well, I'm glad that you've come to me first, because I feel like I'm going to go with the obvious one. So I'll very quickly say what I had as the backup just in case. But I had Portugal versus Uruguay as my backup choice for Monday night. I think that'll be a really, really good game. Obviously, spotlight on Ronaldo. Uruguay expect to do pretty well with the team they've put together. That should be a very, very good game to watch for the neutral. But the game of the weekend's got to be England-USA, hasn't it, on Friday night? It's the test. USA are by no means a top team. Kemp, your slating of Southgate has always been about how he's done against the big teams. But I think after the positive performance against Iran, after some of the other big teams' poor performances, Germany earlier against Japan, Argentina yesterday against Saudi Arabia, Netherlands, who a lot of people fancy as a dark horse, struggling to scrape past Senegal and left it late to win 2-0. I think this is a real test of if England can and will go far in this tournament, if they play with the same positivity in that final third, that same flair, that same sort of freedom that they had against Iran. I do expect at least a 2-goal win, to be honest. I think this could quite easily be, a 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, maybe USA grabbing one like Iran did. So that for me is the game of the week, because there's a lot on the line for, Southgate and the England camp, and can really, really push them on going into that last game against Wales on Tuesday, and then hopefully with a win into the group stages, into the knockouts as well.
Well, I'm going to surprise you, Ian. Sorry about this. I'm just going to jump in right now. Yeah. My game of the week wasn't actually going to be England, and I'd not even thought about saying England. I don't know why, but my game of the week was actually going to be Argentina-Mexico, and purely to the fact that Argentina have just lost against the Saudis. Yeah. Mexico drew the opening game, did they? What was the score?
Yeah, it was 0-0.
No, Poland went it.
That's right. Saved Lewandowski penalty, yeah.
Yeah, so that game, it's all to play for both teams. If Mexico can do a job on Argentina, I think they're out, aren't they? Or as good as. So I got to pick that really for my game of the week.
I've followed a similar sort of theme with that. I've gone with Spain-Germany, same sort of theme of sense. One of the bigger sides have lost. They've got to win, but for Germany, it's against Spain, a side that are just absolutely dominant throughout the entire of the field, and they've proven that in their opening game against Costa Rica. So I've gone for Spain against Germany. Germany, again, they lose, they're effectively out, and they won't make it out the group stage. Just imagine that at the World Cup, there's no Germany and no Argentina making it through the group stage. Crazy.
Then again, you get everyone jumping on again, wouldn't you? Saying, "Oh, here we go, England have got an easy route to final." So it's showing that this is always going to happen in a World Cup. There's always going to be upsets. So when we look back on 2018 and 2020, even though it played in 2021, it doesn't matter what route you get. You've just got to beat the teams in front of you, because this can happen every single tournament. Favourites can lose, and then all of a sudden a path opens up for you. You've just got to take advantage of it.
Didn't we see that in the quarterfinals we could face France? Is that correct?
That's correct. If all goes well,
most likely.
Yeah, if everyone wins the games they should win, it's us v France in quarters. But like I say, that's if everyone wins what they should do. And going by track record of this World Cup so far, that ain't going to happen. There's probably going to be some upsets along the way.
Kemp, we'll move across to you for your game of the week.
Sticking on the subject of France, I'm glad Sam's nicely segued us into that,
Ooh,
into that conversation. France and Denmark is going to be a really interesting fixture. I think Denmark would have probably wanted to get off to a better start, but in the past 5 games, Denmark have actually won 3 and France have won 2. The last 5 games between the two teams. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I can see France coming out as winners. I really hope not, because as Sam's just mentioned, if everybody wins the games they're meant to win, and this is a game that France is probably meant to win, then England will probably meet them in the quarterfinals. And I'm not that confident about that fixture. But I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it's going to be a real test to see if this France side are made of the same sort of minerals as they were in 2018, or if they're made of the same flimsy stuff as they were made in 2021.
I think you're just wanting France to go out so that we've got an easier route to the final, and you've got another excuse for saying that Gareth Southgate should be no longer England manager.
Well, surely that would mean that I would not have a leg to stand on, wouldn't it? Because if we get to quarter-final and we lose, that's just backing my point that it can't beat big teams.
No, if France are out is what I mean.
Well, yeah, if France are out and then we play somebody like Denmark or something like that, then, it's still not a ridiculously difficult fixture for Southgate. So, again, I don't think for me, in my opinion, and we've been through this, is that the tournament finish really is the main thing that I'm looking at. Main thing I'm looking at is if we do get France in the quarterfinals and beat them, I'm going to have to eat every single word that I've spoke. I don't see it happening, but I will put my hands up and absolutely say that I'm wrong, because that's the thing that he's not done yet. But going on to the USA and teams that you're meant to beat and teams that you're meant to get through without upsets, absolutely right, Sam, and everything that you've said. There've been a couple of upsets so far this tournament, and that will always happen. Yeah. It will always happen. It absolutely will. But Southgate, and this is where I've got to take my hat off to him, he has, for the most part, beaten the teams that he should have beaten in tournaments. So I can see us winning the group. I can see us winning it by 9 points. And I don't think that'll change my mind much on it, because, again, these are games that we should be winning. But let's get a good, confident win. Let's get 2 or 3 goals, like Dawson said, and let's get us in good stead against the Wales game, because the Welsh are going to really be up for that. So let's get ready for that one.
It's interesting that we're going to win the group by 9 points, considering there's only 9 available, and the USA
we're going to get 9 points. I said we're going to get 9 points.
Well, you said we're going to win it by 9 points, but anyway, I've got a quick question for you.
We'll listen to that. We'll listen to that on the. We'll listen to that when the podcast is released. But I'm pretty
get
sure
it on Spotify. Get it on Spotify, mate. You'll have a wry smile
at
when you're listening back.
At Loaded Sport.
Yeah. So this is to future Kemp. Just think of that wry smile that you've got on your face when you realise you said that we'll win it by 9 points. But anyway, quick question for you. So we've spoke about England. Everything's been documented. We've spent the last few years talking about it. So, us as a group of friends are well adjusted to our opinions on Southgate. But considering the likes of Germany, lost earlier today, Argentina in that big shock against Saudi Arabia, again, Netherlands struggled. There's only really France and Spain that have stood out in their performances and their victories so far as the bigger team. So, Kemp, my question is to you. Are you more impressed by England's performance and setup when that's something you've slated in the past, considering the other results that have happened across the tournament so far?
No. And the reason being is because 2 wrongs don't make a right. The fact that Argentina had a terrible performance, the fact that, Germany had a terrible performance, doesn't mean anything for England. My criticism isn't of Argentina. My criticism, I don't give a toss about other countries. I care about England. England are the team that I want to win the World Cup. So, yes, we had a good result and a good performance against Iran. We absolutely should have done. But at the same time, Argentina should have had a good result and a good performance, and so should have Germany. So that's more of on them than it is on us, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I'll go fuck myself, Adam. I'll let you crack on, mate.
Fair enough. We'll move on to Lock of the Week. Skin, I'm going to start with you on this one, simply because last week you were the only one, I believe, that got all of your predictions on Lock of the Week correct.
Nice. Fair play.
I did. I got the football Lock of the Week correct, the NFL Lock of the Week correct, the NFL scorer correct, and even the wild card correct, which was Lions to beat Giants. The only one that I didn't get was my football scorer, Macaulay Longstaff, to score for Notts County, and they had 25 shots on goal, drew 0-0, so I don't really know what more I could have done in that. But yeah, it was a pretty good week for me in terms of what I predicted. My lock of the week for football this weekend is going to be Ipswich at home to Buxton in the FA Cup on Sunday afternoon. Adam, I know you've been affiliated and done quite a bit of work at Buxton in your radio work, so you'll know a bit more about the club and the team and their potential chances as I do. But Ipswich home form, should I say, just one singular home form, not plural. And their performance in League One so far this season should see them through against a Buxton team, which, from what I can see, haven't been in the greatest form since they got through round one. So, yeah, I'm going to go Ipswich on Sunday at home to Buxton as my lock of the week for football.
I think that's a fair bet. Like you said, I've covered a bit of Buxton in the past, and they got promoted into the National League North. Last year, they got to this same stage in the FA Cup and lost to Morecambe. So, I think it's a safe bet to say that whilst they're out of form, Ipswich will be able to beat them inside 90 minutes. Kemp, come across to you.
Well, I'm going to be a bit more adventurous than that one because I think that's the safest lock of the week that you could ever go for, but that's why you call it a lock.
That's a lock of the week.
That's a lock. That's why you call it a lock. Yeah, I did say that before you jumped in, you prick. I'm going to go with Belgium against Morocco. They're playing on Sunday in the second game in Group F, I believe. I think Belgium, well, they'll just have too much for them. They've got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and superstars in that team. And I think they're going to have too much for Morocco. And I think by that point...
is that Kevin De Bruyne when he's tested positive for coronavirus?
Kevin De Bruyne?
It's fine. You'll hear it back on the recording.
Is
again.
that two?
Another one for future, Kemp.
All I can say is, how dare you go at Dawson for that his lock, and then you come with Belgium to beat Morocco? Come on.
Are you saying? Whoa. Are you saying that Ipswich to beat Buxton is less likely than Belgium to beat Morocco? After you've just talked about World Cup upsets,
I think they're both as likely as each other.
Really?
I think so.
I've got to agree with Sam on this one. Yeah, Belgium to beat Morocco is just going to be straightforward, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what then. I'm going to go Qatar at home against Senegal, and you can all fuck off.
There we go. Save that for the wild card, mate. Come on.
Sam, we'll come to you for your lock of the week.
Oh, good Lord. Right, what have I gone for lock of the week? Oh, I have gone for Wales to beat Iran. Pretty still self-explanatory. I think Iran so poor against us. Again, was it just us being that good, or was it them being that bad, or a bit of both? I don't think we'll know until the second game. So I'm going to go for that. Wales obviously got off to a draw against US, but started really poorly, then grew into game, got that penalty. I think they're going to come out guns blazing in this second game, and I think they've got to be looking to put 2 or 3 against them at least. So yeah, I'm going Wales to beat Iran.
I'm going to go with Kemp's game of the week, actually. I'm going to go with France against Denmark, but I've got France to beat Denmark on Saturday at, I believe it's the 4 o'clock game. It is the 4 o'clock game. France against Denmark.
It's a bold lock.
It is, but I think France are just too good of a side. Even with the injuries that they've had, they looked too good on Monday, I believe it was, that they played. They looked a very strong side. I think they were very confident moving forward, and I think despite the fact that I have doubted them in the past since they got them injuries that they wouldn't get as far as the final, I think they've proven me wrong again and kind of said that they are going to be able to make it to the final. And it brings me on nicely to my goal scorer. I'm going to go with Olivier Giroud, who got 2 goals in the first game of the season. I think he's going to be the lock.
You fucking bastard. He were my pick.
I didn't even realise we were doing goal scorers, to be fair.
Yeah, a team and a goal scorer. I'm going to go with Olivier Giroud for France as they beat Denmark. I just want to quickly apologise as well. Earlier I mentioned that Spain had beat Costa Rica by 5-0. At the time of the recording, it was 5-0 to Spain. Spain are currently leading by 7-0 as it stands at the moment.
Holy shit.
With a few minutes left to go.
We scored twice in like 2 minutes.
I missed that.
Time.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow. I was hoping we'd be high scorers at first round, but wow, fair play.
England-Spain final incoming. Seeing as Sam didn't know we had to go for a goal scorer and I've stole Skin's goal scorer, we'll come to you for the next goal scorer, Kemp.
Gareth Bale for me.
Oh, mate, I was just about to say that. My lock at week.
There you go. Hopefully Dawson approves of this one because everything else I've said tonight is shit on it. So Gareth Bale for me, it's going to be a pretty convincing win for Wales. And I think Gareth Bale's going to probably grab a couple, to be fair, Adam.
Fair enough. Skin?
Right.
Mate, I'm fucking struggling. He's done me. I tell you what, I will go off the back of Kemp's lock of the week, and I will go Romelu Lukaku.
Are you
to score
kidding
for
me?
Belgium
Oh my
against
God.
Morocco.
I'm literally sat here jumping from fixture to fixture, just thinking of who's going to score. And
How
every
have
one
you
of
managed to get all of ours ready to go, and then we've said it? That's unreal.
Oh my goodness.
I did want Giroud, but Adam went and took him off
That's
me.
unbelievable.
So yeah, I'll go Lukaku for Belgium at home to Morocco, well, not technically at home, but against Morocco on Sunday. Sam, do you want me to keep talking to buy you a bit more time?
No, you're good, mate. You're good. So I'm just flicking through them all now, and I'm just going to commit to one. It's going to be the Monday 4 p.m. kickoff. It's Brazil, Switzerland, and I am going to go for the main man,
Ganso.
Neymar. Ganso, my man, changed his career for the better. Yeah, I'm going to go Neymar for that one. He's I don't really like him as a player, especially at club level. He's always on his arse. But for Brazil, his goal scoring record speaks for itself. So I'm gonna back Neymar for that one.
We move on now to the wild card of the week. Sam, we'll start with yours.
Wild card of the weekend, I am going for Ecuador. Now, I'm being a bit cheeky because I've said Ecuador to get at least a point against Holland. So I don't know if you're going to give me that one or not. It's I'll let you decide if you're going to give me it or not.
No, document it, mate. I feel like that's fair for me anyway. If anyone disagrees,
regardless, if you're backing Ecuador to get a point, Netherlands will win 7-0.
Just back home win or away win on the double chance, and you'll be guaranteed a winner.
I've just got visions of someone with readers on, just listening to this podcast with pen and paper in, and just going against everything I'm saying, just making a note. And big old hacker, that should make you.
Whoever that is in for a very lucrative weekend.
Yeah, so that's my pick. So Ecuador to get at least a point against Holland.
Nice one, Kemp.
Now, on paper, this would usually be a wild card, but I'm going to see what you boys think. I'm going to go Mexico against Argentina. I think they're going to win.
Ooh,
definitely.
You can have it.
Now, the only reason I say that is because of Argentina's pathetic performance in their previous game.
No,
not on paper, Mexico, I think, against Argentina are obviously the underdogs, and I think Mexico are going to get the win.
That'd be unbelievable, by the way.
Do you think, just very quickly there, do you think their performance was pathetic? They were running right in the first half.
Mate.
They have 3 goals.
Absolutely shocking. Yeah, it's
terrible.
No excuse. Shocking, but
no. There's no excuse for not putting the
2
team
very
like
good
that.
finishers for the goal.
No,
yeah, it doesn't matter. The defending for the second goal, especially, was absolutely appalling.
No, I'm just giving you a firm answer. Absolutely shocking. First half, they had chance after chance. You've got to get onside. That one with Martinez's shoulder, fair enough. That could have gone either way for a split second in it. But there were a couple where they were a mile offside and they still went right keeper and put it in. And you're just thinking, come on, you take your chances while they're there. And the chances obviously dried up in first half. And second half, they were absolutely abysmal. They just could not break down that Saudi wall. So no, they were terrible.
Fair. Ag, what's your wild card for the upcoming weekend?
It was Mexico to beat Argentina.
But you bastard!
Yeah, shut your fucking mouth, mate.
But
welcome to my world.
I have had to move on, so I'm going to go with Iran to beat Wales. I think that.
Okay.
I would love that. Love it.
Be nice.
Love it
for them.
I don't think Wales did enough to really reach the potential that everyone even expected of them when they were playing USA. Yeah, they played a bit better in the second half, but they got a penalty which they managed to convert with 10 minutes left to go to get a point against USA. I think Iran shown enough against England.
USA!
Yeah, them. I think Iran did enough against England to show that they'll probably be able to get a goal or 2 against Wales and I think go on to win it. Yeah, we scored 6 past them, but Iran was still creating chances. Maybe it's because we nodded off and got a bit complacent towards the end, but I think if you're creating some of those chances, Iran is still going to take the odd 1 or 2, and I think they're going to beat Wales.
Interesting.
Skin?
Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. I am going to go as late as I possibly can. We always class the weekend as Friday to Monday, whether it's domestic football or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go as late as I possibly can to claim my wild card pick, and that will be Uruguay to beat Portugal.
Oh, that is not a wild card.
Do you think
not a wild card? I think I've got Uruguay winning group.
Mate, Uruguay are currently just under 3-1 on the betting odds, and they are longer odds than some of the picks that you've all picked. So,
Sam,
based on that,
you've fucked yourself up there because you've just literally said it's not a wild card, and then you've said you've had Uruguay to win group.
I know, but
So-
it's, like on paper though, come on, Uruguay are a strong team. I think
Uruguay
that's
are
an even game.
only just shorter odds than Iran to beat Wales. So I'm claiming that as a wild card pick based on the bookmakers. But yeah, I think Portugal have got a very, very strong side, and again, it's wild card for a reason because it's not something I'm overly confident with. Portugal are the favourites, but again, Uruguay, very strong side. Their conditions we spoke about in the World Cup preview show, as much that was leaning on the conditions maybe favouring teams based in South America. So I'm going to go with Uruguay Monday night as my wild card of the weekend to beat Portugal.
If I know my boy Mudge, he's going to be fuming with that pick. I think someone tipped Uruguay as a dark horse, didn't they, in the community, and I think he kicked off at that one. So he is not going to be a happy boy with that.
Did he call him a dickhead?
I can only go off of what the bookies are saying.
No, that's very surprising. If they're over you say around 3-1.
Where have they gone? Monday night. Uruguay 14-5 to beat Portugal.
That's crazy.
Iran 16-5. Ecuador to get a draw against Netherlands is 13-5. So that's even shorter than my wild card pick. So yeah, if you fancy that,
I do fancy that. I think we can see that.
I fancy you, mate, and we'll end it on that one.
There we go. Thanksgiving football in the NFL, and we'll be talking about that amongst others and looking towards Lock of the Week in just a few moments' time on Loaded Sport. Welcome back to episode 7 of Loaded Sport. We're now going to look towards the NFL. It's Thanksgiving football once again on Thursday with 3 games taking place. 5:30, we've got the Bills at Lions. 9:30, Giants at Cowboys. And at 1:20 a.m., Patriots against Vikings. I know some of us have a tendency to try and stay up for some of these late games when our team's taking part. Skin, will you be doing the same?
No.
Nice one. Thanks for that. Kemp,
no, mate. I've got work. I've got work on the Friday, so no, I won't be staying up till 4:00 in the morning to watch that game. But I've got something to say about it in a little bit, but we'll save it for the appropriate time because I'll be bringing them up in one of our segments later on. I won't spoil it just yet.
That's fair. We'll start with Game of the Week then across the 4 of us. We'll start with Sam. We'll start with yourself. Game of the Week for you.
Game of the Week. Okay, so I am being a little bit... Got my Packers blinkers on here, and I'm going to go for the Packers at the Eagles. 9-1 Eagles against my 7... Sorry, I wish it were 7-4. 4-7 Packers. I've got a funny feeling. I've got one of them funny feelings where we've got absolutely no right to go into... Is it Lincoln Financial? Got no right to go in there and get any kind of result. And I think, like we did against the Cowboys... I think we'll come away with a bit of a cheeky result there. It's just typical, though, isn't it? Because we beat I think I mentioned it on last podcast. We beat the Cowboys, then we went in and lost at Titans. So it's like flipper of coin wheels at the minute. Are we going to turn up or not? And if I think we might just turn up, I've got no reason why we're going to win, but I'm just going for it. I think Packers will win at the Eagles.
Fair enough. I'm glad you've mentioned the Packers because it brings me on nicely to a question I've got for you. I've got Aaron Rodgers in our fantasy football, and I've seen a lot of you slating him, and I think your patience is about had enough of him. Where do you think the Packers would and should go with Rodgers from the end of this season?
Well, it's funny you say that because I've actually got one of my notes here and I did forget to read it out. But a lot of Packer fans have been calling for Rodgers to be placed on IR and essentially rule his season out because this thumb. We don't know how bad it is. We've heard multiple rumours that apparently he's broke it. Apparently it's just a sprain. So no one quite knows. He's never really come out and said what's wrong with it. So there's a lot of Packer fans just saying, well, that's it then. Get him onto IR. He's not playing right. Well, run these last couple of games with Jordan Love and let's just see what we've got with Jordan Love. We put him in a competitive environment. How many games we lost? 7 games. There is obviously a slim outside chance we could win out and potentially make a a seventh place wild card. And if Jordan Love did manage to do that, we'd know we've got something with him, and we're never going to know unless he's playing. So I think now's possibly a perfect time to potentially put Rodgers on IR and just see what we've got with Love.
I suppose that's fair. You look at the NFC, and it's not too competitive with high-scoring teams. Obviously, apart from the NFC East, where you've got the Eagles 9-1, Cowboys and Giants on 7-3. You being on 4-7, like you say, you're not too many wins away from being able to turn that around. It's not like you're in a dangerous position of completely missing out on the playoffs if you can find that form. And Watson's turned up at the right time to try and help that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think now who is claiming the current wild cards. I think, looking at it, I think there's 3, isn't there? So I'm looking now. I think it's going to be Cowboys, as it stands, obviously. It's Cowboys at 7-3, Giants at 7-3. And I think it's your boys next on
6-4, yeah.
6-4.
They're leading the division, aren't they?
No,
Niners.
Yeah, so it's Seahawks are the third team then.
Yeah, so obviously we need to get to 6 wins, and we're 4. So we're 2 wins out. We're 2 wins out of tying that bottom place. So it's, not completely out of the equation. But if I'm being completely honest, I would be quite tempted to put in Jordan Love. This season's not going to mean a deal for us, I don't think. Even if we did win out, I really can't see us doing it in playoffs. We may as well just see what we've got in Love and just looked at future. I've heard rumours again that we're looking at potentially putting a trade package together for Rodgers because he's costing that much further down. Like, the more seasons go on, the higher it's going to impact our salary cap. It goes ridiculous further down the line. Retiring would be the worst thing for us because it would still be paying him about 3 years down the line after retirement and is no longer on the team. So, crazy. So getting some kind of down payment for him in the summer might be the best thing for us, really. It's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us no matter what. As soon as he's off our books, we're going to be paying him for about another 2 years. But if we can get him off our books and, just take the hit for one season, I think we'll be better off in the long run.
Who's realistically going to look at him, though, and think that they'll trade for him? I mean, he's not proven much this year. I know he's previously an MVP winner 2 years in a row. Who's going to put that sort of money together to say, yeah, we'll pay him and we'll take him off your hands?
I mean, you look around, potentially Jets, obviously, washing hands with Wilson. You look at maybe Commanders. They're not in a great QB situation. There are options around the league. There's, it's a QB league, isn't it? And when he's fit, he's still one of a top 5 QB. So I think there will be teams that will pay us for him. It's just I don't think we'll quite command that package that we would have got off of Denver in the summer. I think we should have probably took that. Looking back at it, the haul you got from it for Wilson, I think would have definitely got that for Rodgers. The reigning MVP.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas. I can't see that.
There's rumours that they're planning on moving on from Carr at the end of the season, so why not get Rodgers and Adams back together? We've seen what it can do there. Kemp, we'll move on to you with your game of the week.
I'm going to go Jags-Ravens. I think that's going to be a really interesting game. Jags are up for it more often than not, and even when they've lost, it's been a shootout at times. And the Ravens are free-scoring, free-flowing. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion, despite some other controversial opinions in our group. But to be fair, I meant Tina as well, but yeah, you are right up there. But yeah, shout out to my boy Liam. I think that's going to be a really interesting game. I think Ravens will come out on top, but I think it's going to be a shootout and a high-scoring game, which is what we love.
Honestly, if I had to look at the entire schedule for this coming weekend, I would legitimately put that game as the worst game I would not want to watch. I am honestly not kidding.
Really?
I think that game is going to be an absolute shit show.
Why do you think that?
Well, look at Ravens' last game against Panthers. Panthers are shocking. What did they finish? We're at 13-3, and I think it was 3-3 up until fourth quarter. I don't think... I can't see that game being very good at all. But that's...
To be fair, reason I mention it is because, you look at the Jaguars' recent results, and even though they've not won that many games, put up 17 against the Chiefs, beat the Raiders 27-20, put up 17 against the Broncos, 17 against us, 27 against the Colts. So they know how to score touchdowns. They beat the Chargers 38-10.
Oh,
so
yes.
They know how to score touchdowns, and they know, as long as everybody's firing, on all cylinders, and the Ravens, the amount of fantasy points Lamar Jackson's got for me this season is astronomical. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a really interesting game. seeing as though you said it's not going to be an interesting game, that means it
Double
will be an
down.
interesting game.
Yeah,
So
I've clinched it for you.
You have. Thank you very much for backing me up there.
You're welcome, sir.
And Skin, you've seen the Jags live this season, so would you back that up and say, take Kemp's side and say, yeah, there's potential that could be a very big game, or are you very much on Sam's side for it?
Sam's side.
Nice.
I'm stunned.
Is that it?
I have no idea what you've just spoke about. I just heard you ask if I was on Sam's side or anyone else's side, so Sam's side. No, I agree with Sam. I don't think it'll be up to much. Ravens had an awful game against the Panthers, who, that was my lock of the week, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the most entertaining game. It's just, who do you think is most likely to win? Yeah, I think if Ravens get ahead early, then it'll just be a run the clock down, see you later kind of game. Jaguars are the best when they're running the ball through ETN. So again, I think that'll be, from the early games, that'll be one of the earlier ones to finish. So yeah, I'm not expecting too much from that personally.
Brings us on nicely to your game of the week though, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite with what I've just said there, because my game of the week I haven't picked this based on entertainment value or best game for the neutral. I've picked this one based on the consequences of what it does to the rest of the league based on the result. I've gone Cincinnati Bengals at Tennessee Titans. Bengals are currently 6-4 in the AFC. Tennessee are currently 7-3. So this could have real implications to more so Bengals division in the AFC North, but the AFC as a whole, in terms of keeping up with the currently dominant Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Bengals have won 4 out of the last 5. Tennessee have won 4 out of the last 5. But I do think this will be a low-scoring game. Titans, so far this season, are averaging under 20 points. They're also allowing an average of under 20 points as well. They're averaging below 200 passing yards. And, Bengals are averaging less than 100 rushing yards as well. So it's not going to be the most entertaining game. I think it will be low scoring, but in terms of game of the week and league implications, that for me has the most on the line. So yeah, Bengals at Tennessee as my game of the week for week 12. What about yourself, Aggie?
Well, mine was Titans-Bengals because I felt that Titans could cause an upset and Bengals are set as one of those teams that would be expected to win on paper. But you say it's got loads of implications for the league. The game that I'm actually going to change it to is an NFC East game between the Cowboys and the Giants. Similar sort of...
That was my backup, that.
Yeah, both 7-3 in the NFC East. A win could really help catapult towards the Eagles. Yeah, like Sam said, that the Packers have that opportunity to kind of cause an upset against the Eagles. Who thought that Packers beating Eagles would be an upset? But the Cowboys and the Giants 7-3. Everyone seems to be confident that this is the Cowboys' game, and I can't seem to see how people are so confident that the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I could probably see the Giants edging it. To be fair, it's all about if they
wish
can
you'd edge me.
Knew that would come in. Fucking knew it.
Every episode he says that. The Giants.
I'll keep saying it if you keep saying it.
There we go then. It's a deal. The Giants, I personally think the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys. I think if they can get Saquon Barkley going, I think there's no stopping them. And I know the Cowboys have now got Tony Pollard working as a dual threat and Zeke being able to get back to full fitness as well. But I think the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys. So I'm going to go with that as my game of the week as well. I think it's going to be very close. But Kemp, I'm wanting to hear your thoughts on Giants against Cowboys, being a Giants fan.
I think you're pissed. I think you're absolutely...
This is what I mean. So you think Cowboys are going to win?
Oh, mate, they're going to battle us.
Sam, get the butter kissed. Let's go.
They are going to absolutely fucking hammer us. The performance that we put in the other day was atrocious, terrible in every single way. We couldn't get going on offense or defense, and we got ran over by a team that have been poor for the vast majority of the season. You then look at Pollard and the fact that 3 running touchdowns conceded for us at the weekend, and then you've got Pollard and Zeke. Yes, but no, but. I think it's going to be a bit of a dominant win for the Cowboys, unfortunately. Adam, I hope you're right. I really do, but I just personally can't see it.
I think it's a good shout out for game of week, though, to be fair. 2 7-3 teams. It's not a bad shout at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad shout. I think we'll be pathetic, to be honest, and I think it'll be a bit one-sided, which is why I didn't put it forward as game of the week, because I like game of the weeks to be quite competitive, and I don't think that game will be, quite honestly. But I hope I'm wrong.
Mate, at the end of the day, you're 7-3. this far into 10,
I'm not
11 weeks into the season.
Yes, I said it in the review show. I'm not grumbling. We're doing so much better than I thought we would be. But in the game against the Lions, we were really bad. And we're playing against the Cowboys now, and the Cowboys beat us earlier on in the season when we were on fire. So I can only see one winner, and I think we're going to tail off a little bit towards the end of the season. I don't think we've quite got enough steam left to get us over the line. But we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game. And Adam, like I say, I hope you're right, sir.
I'm just very quickly going to jump in if that's okay. Because, Kemp, I've given you a lot of shit over this last hour or so. So I am going to back you up on this one. And Cowboys to beat Giants is currently my backup lock of the week should someone take my first choice. So I thought, look, I've given you shit. It's only fair that I back you up as well. So yeah, just thought I'd get that in there very quickly. Sorry,
appreciate
Adam.
that. That's a very novel. That's a very novel feeling, and I'm going to take that away with me now. Thank you.
Yeah, cherish it, mate. It doesn't happen very often.
Thank you. I will.
Okay, we'll move on to lock of the week. We'll start this time with you, Skin.
Yes, I am going to go because, again, it is lock of the week, the win and the lock that you are most confident in, and that is the Miami Dolphins to beat the Houston Texans. Miami are doing very, very well. I think they're currently 7-3 this time last year. I think they had 2, maybe 3 wins. So massive turnaround with what they've done in the offseason, both on the field and off field as well. Houston are a dead team, currently sitting with the first overall pick. They've got to be looking at who the best quarterback prospect is coming out of college, ready to join them next year. So yeah, my lock of the week this week is Miami Dolphins to beat the Houston Texans. Sam, who's your first ever lock of the week?
First ever. You know what? I've flirted with a couple.
Wish you'd flirt with me.
Fucking
I know.
flirt with me.
I do, boys. Are you kidding? Yeah, I flirted with Bears Jets. I was going to give it Bears, but I didn't know what fields were looking like. I was going to give it the Bills to beat the Lions, but again, the Lions have been a bit of a iffy team to back against. So I finally settled on the Chiefs to beat the Rams.
You're going to steal mine.
Yeah, mine as well.
Last year, that would have been an absolute 2 apex teams going at it. You probably won't want it involved anywhere near your locks of the week. It could have gone either way, but this season, Rams are just so poor, and Mahomes is playing at an MVP level. So I think, even though it's at... Wait, where's it at? Is it at Chiefs as well? If it's at Chiefs...
It's in LA.
Oh, right, okay. Then I've been saying it wrong then. I've been saying Eagles are at home against Packers.
It's at the Chiefs.
Oh, no, I've been saying it right then.
Pretty sure it's at the Chiefs.
That's it then. So yeah, in Arrowhead, I think we'll have no one's having much problems there. So I'm locking in the Chiefs to beat the Rams.
Kemp?
Well, seeing as though mine got stolen from me, but to be fair, it's Sam's first lock of the week, so we'll concede that one. I'm going to refer to my previous point, and the Dallas Cowboys beating the New York Giants. They'll have too much for us on both sides of the ball, and I think they're going to come away with a comfortable win. So the Dallas Cowboys beating the New York Giants.
We should back all these, shouldn't we? Every week we should do a little bit of a syndicate, whatever we're locking in, just chuck in.
I did.
Skin does.
Oh dear, oh, fair enough.
Yeah, chuck a quid on up, picks football and NFL. Sam, just very quickly, Kemp's fuming at you there for stealing
I know.
his pick. In what time do you think you were more mischievous?
Okay.
Was
shut up.
Shut
the fuck up. I know what's already coming. You mentioned my bare fucking feet on this stream.
No, I'm not. Bare feet on windows are not going to be mentioned. Right, the question again is, at what point were you more mischievous? Is it A, stealing Kemp's lock of the week?
Okay. I don't think that's quite mischievous, but...
Is it B, dropping the worst farts known to man in a crowded O2 when we went to watch The Killers about 10, 12 years ago?
That was quite mischievous, I must admit.
Or is it C, to be presented without further context, have a good horse?
Oh, God. No. No
more context will be given.
Well, it's not option A, is it? Let's be honest.
It's definitely not option A. I mean, it's probably not option B. You've absolutely buried me with that one. So, yeah, it's going to have to be option C, and we will say no more on the matter.
Yeah, Aggie, what's your lock of the week, mate?
And my lock of the week is, as Sam just kind of briefly mentioned, Bills to beat Lions. I know he said that the Lions have that sort of way about them where they can maybe cause a bit of an upset, but I think the Bills are just going to be too strong. They started slow against the Browns, turned it into second gear, and then just went on and beat them. before that, 2 defeats. I think the Bills are hungry to regain first place, and whilst the Chiefs are currently in the driving seat for that, and I think they're going to go on and claim first place in the AFC, the Bills are going to do absolutely everything they can to stop them. They were the people's favourites before the season started, and I think they're just going to be too strong for a Lions side that are too inexperienced to deal with Diggs and Davis as your 2 wide receivers, and Allen the person to throw at him. So I'm going with the Bills to beat the Lions as my lock of the week. In terms of touchdown scorer, I've gone with Miles Sanders for the Eagles against Green Bay. I think Green Bay. I think for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts has been doing a fantastic job and he's been turning it into running yards as well. Miles Sanders kind of suffered from that, but I think given the opportunity, Sanders is going to really take it to Green Bay and get a touchdown for the Eagles. Skin.
We've got a pretty poor run game, I must admit. There, yeah, it's a good call, I think. That.
Thank you, Skin.
I am going to go with your boy Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks to score a touchdown against the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend. He has been fantastic since he started being the RB1 for Seahawks. Seahawks well documented the positive season they're having. Las Vegas well documented the not so positive season they're having, and they're currently ranked 30th for run defense as well. So I think Kenneth Walker has got a very good chance of getting on the scoreboard in that 9:05 game on Sunday evening. Kemp, who's your lock of the week, mate, for the touchdown scorer?
Going to be a hat trick for me tonight. All 3 of my predictions, locks, game of the week, and touchdown scorer is going to be from the Cowboys and the Giants game, and it's going to be Pollard. Like I say, our run defense last week was pathetic. So I'm going to go Pollard as lock of the week for touchdown scorer.
Fair enough. I've just zoned out for a minute. Is that everyone?
Nope,
Yes,
I've not done mine.
Sound.
What do you mean, yes? I've not done mine. I was thinking about I'm going to fuck this then, shall I? Sat here eagerly anticipating, waiting to be asked, and it's blew straight behind me. Jesus Christ.
What's worse? Sam, another multiple choice question.
Mate, honestly.
A or B? Is it A, Avogador, presented without further context?
No, you need to stop. You need to fucking stop.
Cut this.
Or is
cut
it
this.
no? Don't fucking cut it. You wanted the fucking shit in. Don't cut it. I'm presenting without further context. Or is it B, Ag zoning out and just stroking his helmet while we were all presenting our touchdown scorers? Then
Yeah, B. I'm going B.
Of course you are.
Right.
He's got fucking no right.
I'll take that into the next.
Who was it that
next
said yeah?
question.
Right. So Dawson, he's just as bad. He said, "Yeah, that's it." Right. Anyway, right. I'm going for my touchdown scorer of the week.
You've been.
No, I haven't.
You have. We cut it. We cut it out of the recording. We cut it out of the release.
God. Oh my God. What's going on? Austin Eckler versus the Cards. Go and fuck the lot of you.
Go on, Eckler. You why? Go on, Eckler in my fantasy team. I'm 10-1. Let's go.
We'll move on to the wild card predictions
Stop
then
playing with
from
your
the
tail and focus.
NFL. Move on to the wild card predictions for the
You're laughing,
NFL.
Ag.
Kemp, we're going to start with you. Fucking stop laughing now.
Right, I'm good. Move on.
What do you want from me?
Wild card.
He's had so
Please,
defeated
for the
his
love
voice
of God,
there.
give me the wild card
Why?
prediction that you've got.
Wild card.
Give me this fucking wild card and let's go.
Come on, we've got football soon. Hurry up.
New England Patriots.
Are you fucking pissed?
I've
I've
got that.
15 minutes saying I'm not fucking talking about it.
They're not my wild card. I just did it to wind you up.
Brilliant. Love that.
Fucking
I just did it to wind you up. I am going to back Sam's boys, the Green Bay Packers. I
Oh
feel like
my
the Eagles are
fucking God. I
big-
literally
big
said at the
favourites,
top of the
so-
fucking stream.
Yeah. Sorry, but I'm going to go Green Bay Packers. I think
That's sickening.
they could get it. I think the Eagles could slide. So they're my wild card for this week.
Fair
You
enough.
better let me
Yeah,
fucking go
we'll
first
come
after
across
what
to
I
you
heard
then.
say.
We'll come across to you.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, because I heard you say that was mine, so I'm going to claim it because I spent the last 15 minutes not talking about it, saying that I will talk about it at the right time, and that time is now, because my wildcard pick for this
Recognise.
weekend recognize the fact that my New England Patriots are going to go into Minnesota on Thanksgiving Thursday in that late game, and they are going to win and give Minnesota their second loss in a row and put them to 8-3. Patriots are going to set up. It's not going to be an exciting game. It is, as I've been saying for the last 2 years with Mac Jones at quarterback, it is going to be an efficient game. That defense is going to choke Kirk Cousins, and he is going to choke again when the cameras are on and the lights are brightest. And the New England Patriots are going to return to Boston with yet another win. Let's
Choke me,
go.
Daddy.
Oh,
Fair enough.
I'm still fuming at Kemp. Honestly, I can't
Why?
believe he took Packers because I mentioned it when I said it was my game of the week. I said I'm having Packers to win and all. That would have been an upset. So, oh god, I'm spitting feathers with that one.
blame Ag for not coming to you first.
I know.
It's
Thanks
always
a lot,
my
Ag.
fucking fault.
Fucking thanks a lot. Ag.
Right, I'll come across to you now. What's your wild
Yeah, well, it's
card?
been
Yeah,
late
you
now.
come to you last.
Yeah,
Let's come to
fucking-
you last. Now your
shit
fucking
talk.
pick's been taken.
Shit talk.
Let's come to you now, Sam.
You know what? Well, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. What we're doing? Wild card.
Wild card.
Wild card, right? Wild card. You know what? I'm going Browns to beat Bucks. Shove that up your fucking rat pipe.
My goodness
What's a
gracious.
rat pipe?
No further-
I'm going for Browns to beat the Bucks. I think my boy in fantasy, number one back. I don't think he's a number one back actually anymore, but Chubb.
I think he's in non-PPR leagues, isn't he?
Not sure.
So I think
I'm
he
not
is.
sure.
I think Eckler is in PPR leagues, but Chubb is in none.
Yeah, so that's I've had to manoeuvre because it was going to be the Packers to beat the Eagles, as I said at the top of the stream, but Kemp so graciously took that one. So yes, I'll move to the Browns to beat the Bucks.
Fair enough. I've moved on from the Patriots to win. I've gone for Panthers over Broncos. I'm hoping you're going to count that one because
Jesus,
Yeah, that's still wild card, mate. It's still
it's about as wild as it gets. That one.
well, they've had Walker, they've had Baker, and now they've confirmed that Sam Darnold's going to be playing this weekend. So there's a chance for
Oh
him
my
to
God.
go out there and prove what he can do. And I
Fancy
think,
it.
yeah, I think
Sam
why not?
Howell next week.
Well, there you go. Why not?
Sam White.
Oh, what a guy!
No, I think the Panthers are going to beat the Broncos. I think 3-7's a poor situation for the Broncos to be in. They've just got rid of Melvin Gordon. Obviously, that means more chance for. I think Marlon Mack's their backup now as well. Remember Marlon Mack? He's
Remember
going to be the
him.
backup to
Remember him.
Latavius Murray
Yeah.
as well. But I think the Panthers are going to cause a bit of an upset here. I didn't know if it'd count because the Panthers are 3-8, the Broncos are 3-7, and both teams are relatively shit. But I think the Panthers themselves are just going to turn it up and get a good win. And Sam Darnold's going to prove himself in and amongst the argument for QB1 in Carolina. So there we go.
Good. Hold on.
Thank you very much. That is all we've got for this week. Skin, I'll let you go through the social media channels.
Well, if they're listening to this, mate, they've probably already found us. But anyway, if you want to listen to us, if you want to have a little interaction with our episodes, search for Loaded Sport on both Spotify and YouTube. Leave us the comments, leave us the reviews, leave us the ratings, good and bad. We want the feedback. We want to grow this. We want to do well. We're not putting time and money into this just for the sake of it. If we just wanted to chat, we'd do it in a PlayStation party. We're doing this because we want to grow it.
Baby.
If you want to find us on Facebook, you just search again for Loaded Sport. If
What's
you want
that?
to be a part of our community, Loaded Sport
That's
on
the one.
Facebook. If you want to be a part of our community forum, which is growing at a nice pace, it's only been going for just under a week now, but a lot of talk, especially with the World Cup on, a lot of interaction. So if you want to connect with people and get involved in a lot of sports chat, share your opinion and see what others are, search for Loaded Sport Community Forum. It is a private group. It is visible, however. That is a private group. It is visible, however, but we'll see the request to join and we can approve accordingly. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Loaded Sport. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it is at Loaded_sport. Adam, that is everywhere where people can find us on the socials. We're all on there. We're all interacting. If you've got any feedback for us as well, like I said, let us know. We've refreshed the numbers this week compared to last week. We're growing at a nice pace. We're really pleasantly surprised at the numbers that we're getting in terms of listeners, followers, streams, all that kind of stuff. And that is
Shout
all
out
down
to you guys.
Shout out to you guys. Adam, question to end this week. I think you've done a phenomenal job being back on
Yeah,
host.
no, fair
after-
play. Let's get up for Ag on host because I
Ag.
got demoted.
Yeah, he got demoted. He was really sad because he was poorly one week.
That
but
killed him.
yeah, it's lit a
Not
fire
far off.
under his anus. Lit a fire under his anus that he needed to get back
And in
on
his
track.
heart.
And in his heart, which a bit too much yesterday, but we'll leave that. But Adam, I'm going to close this episode, mate, by asking you the question of the week, and that is, what's your technique for peeling your foreskin back? Good night, everybody.